fuck with me, man.
Okay, so that's
I'll
recording.
fuck you up. I shoot like
Don't
this.
fuck with me.
I shoot like this, Scott.
Okay, that's recording. That's recording.
Check.
All right.
Check. 1, 2.
I will give you a heads up.
Scotty.
You might hear like the gate, and it sounds really loud. It doesn't go on the podcast for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah. I won't hear it anyway, will I?
Yeah. No, well, you will hear it. Like you'll be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh, you mean the gate as in outside?
Yeah, the gate outside.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Scotty got all excited. He thought you said the gay outside. He's
Yeah.
It's super gay
It's the
outside.
village gate.
I gotta warn you, it's super gay outside. All right, 3, 2,
Get your microphone, Scotty.
1. What?
Scotty.
Oh, Scott, if you hear what's going on, welcome to the Ride Boundless Podcast, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. What a fucking crazy adventure. Whose fucking laser gun is this? Who left that shit on? Obviously, that person won.
Turn it off.
I want to go the simple route of quick introduction. You know, how do you guys introduce yourselves, and where are you guys from, and what are you doing in LA? We'll start with Scotty.
Okay, so my name's Scott Hopkins. I started a custom motorcycle blog about 15 years ago called Pipeburn. And pretty much we decided to start a Pipeburn podcast. And we came to America about a week ago, and we've just been in Dallas, LA, interviewing some cool people, going to some amazing events, and yeah, it's been epic. We're pretty fucking dusty, to be honest with you, right now.
There's no drinking involved in this whole adventure, was there, Scotty?
This is the first drink you guys had. In
Yeah. We're actually,
right.
yeah, we actually don't drink.
Right, virgins.
Yeah.
Yeah, no cocaine, no weed.
We just actually did a tour of the Hot Wheels place, and I was walking by Scott. I'm like, Scotty, you fucking reek of booze, bro. You smell like a fucking alcoholic dude. I just walked by on fucking Venice Boulevard.
and cum.
He always smells like cum. I'm used to that.
Booze and cum.
It's a thing.
Perfect. How would you introduce yourself?
Oh shit! So I'm Anthony Partridge, and I'm friends with these fucking weirdos here.
Fucking weirdos.
I've been building bikes for like 20 odd years. I've been doing TV shows on Discovery Channel. I've had a couple TV shows for the last 6 years on Discovery Channel in the UK. Yeah, I'm a bit of a mixed bag, really. I was born in England, kind of grew up in Canada, spent 20 years in Spain, and then got sucked back into the UK by Discovery Channel. But
That explains the Spanish you were speaking the other day.
and I'm just clawing to get out of England. I'm just like tooth and nail, just trying to get out of the rain and the cold, come over here to California.
Oh, this is where you want to
This
stay?
is the plan. It's been a plan for like 6 years, but it still hasn't happened yet. But I'm like that close.
Well, 7's the lucky one, right?
Seven's a lucky number, bro.
That's the lucky number.
Me.
Who the fuck are you, man?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
Who are you today?
I'm Mark Hawwa. Today I'm excited for a flight back home so I can sleep 12 hours straight.
Well, on the plane?
On the plane, yeah. And
Asshole. I can't sleep on flights.
I started the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride 12 years ago. So I guess my background
What's that?
has always been hospitality, bringing people together, building sort of communities around even Mazda Rotaries back in Sydney.
Yeah.
And 12 years ago, I started riding motorbikes, had no friends that I rode motorbikes with. So I started up a little crew in Sydney called Sydney Cafe Races. Quickly sort of grew to a couple thousand people and multiple sort of cafe racer groups globally. And off the back of that, I started the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, which is a ride where guys and girls get dressed up for men's health. We raise money for prostate cancer and suicide prevention. Grew from 64 cities in the first year, which was 2012, to just under 900 cities this year, 107
fucking super
countries,
impressive.
and 65 million. I think that's Australian number, 65 million Australian dollars for charity.
I want to get into how you got into that idea.
Yeah.
And we will on this podcast. My main thing, my other question that I'm really curious before we get started with that is hearing all this stuff in LA, being from the UK and Australia and being out of the country, hearing all the crazy stuff that's happening in the US, our president, California. Did you guys, this is not your first time in California, right?
No.
Now, did you guys like this visit? Did you see it crazy? Did you see it fun? Or
I loved it. I think for me, I haven't been over here since my birthday, February
oh, so you come
2019.
Yeah.
2019. So it's been 4 years, and obviously it was that tough
Pre-COVID,
sort of COVID period. But it seems consistent. I mean, we went to Dallas and we were able to sort of check out our mate Bobby's museum, Bobby Huss Museum, and that was awesome. And that's the first time that I've been to Dallas. It's probably the first time.
Yeah,
you
it's the first
guys have
time I've been
to
to Dallas.
Yeah,
I've only
first
been
time for me.
been to Austin, Texas a few times, but
Yeah, and so for me, it felt like normal. I guess it just felt like what it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't see a massive. Obviously, you guys here day to day see a change, but like I come to LA. I used to before COVID. I was here probably 3, 4, even 5 times a year, and now probably just once a year. But I usually come for like a month or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but
So you get a good feel for it.
yeah, and this is kind of like my third home.
It's a spiritual home.
But yeah, I haven't noticed massive different. Obviously, you know, outside of America, you know, we get different news than you guys do. You know what I mean? Yours is all kind of told by Fox and CNN or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Shooting, stabbing.
Yeah. But so we only kind of see that, and then you land here, and you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know if it's because I'm so used to the place. I don't see much of a change. You know what I mean? But again, I don't live here. I don't pay my taxes here, so it's.
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit different day to day.
Do you pay tax?
Of course.
We'll beep that out.
Listening.
Well, that's why he's in different countries.
Yeah, exactly. This is his tax
who the fuck are you
avoiding
running
exercise.
away? Yeah.
We Googled my name the other night, and we were looking. Apparently, I'm worth $1.2 million.
Nice.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Did you know?
It's
I
only
had no idea. Had no idea.
you know?
And if anybody's got that 1.2, can fucking I have the rest
Don't
of
you
it back,
bank it-
please?
Yeah.
Don't you bank in Mexico? That's where all your money is.
Hey, listen.
Bahamas.
That's
Isn't that the meeting with Jaime Camille? I'm just kidding.
So, Robert, has it changed? Like being a guy that has been here a while.
COVID was tough.
Yeah.
COVID was tough. My question to you guys was, you know, because I always think about when people visit LA and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to visit LA. And then they see Hollywood and Highland and you see how fucking trashy and dirty. And you're like, oh my God, like this is terrible.
Yeah.
And then certain parts of downtown LA. But I guess that doesn't really apply to you guys because you guys are visiting people and you kind of know where your spots are at. And
To be fair, I mean, Venice and Santa Monica and all the rest of it sort of felt like there were less homeless people than every other time I've been here.
Right now,
But I don't
yeah.
know if that's because COVID's moved them. And the same thing happened in Sydney.
Yeah.
COVID happened and they had to move to different areas that were still sort of a little bit busy
We actually-
to be able to get some money off people.
We actually went to the Comedy Store last night for a drink on the way home.
that's
see
fun,
some
man.
comedy, see what was going on, and then on the way back, we're like, "Hey, they're like, do you want to go see? Should we drive around see something on last night?" I'm like, "Let's drive kind of like beach way back to Marina Del Rey, and we'll see if we can." Catch all the homeless coming out of the woodworks because at nighttime, Venice and Santa Monica usually changed. It was like all tourists in the day and then junkies and sketch bags at night, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't see any, not
was no
one,
one.
all the way from Santa Monica all the way to Marina Del Rey. Didn't
We
see
were just
one homeless.
surprised that was Anthony's favorite pastime.
Yeah.
Finding people that had less than $1.2 million living
He
on
pulled
the
out his
beach,
book with check.
homeless.
Like, I gotta go at night.
I got to
for
relate
homeless.
with the people. You know what I mean?
I need to find my
Yeah,
people.
it felt different, but I mean, we know the sad state is that the money's not being spent there; they've just moved somewhere else.
Is there still
Yeah,
70?
the support's
is
not
there
there.
still 70,000 tents in
And Skid Row.
Skid Row?
Yeah, there's probably that, and there's probably more.
'Cause there-
Here's the thing: during COVID, it got dark.
Yeah.
Like even this was like this river over here or whatever, fucking sewer.
You guys shower in it.
That shit got sketchy as fuck. That got sketchy as fuck. I mean, literally, I was just like with a gun, like in my home and shit. Like I don't
No
fucking
way.
know. I'm on the first
Yeah.
floor.
Was everyone camping there across the road?
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and there was just people fucking screaming out of their fucking minds, just like fucking running around with no pants and dirty.
What's wrong with that?
And then wash your ass, man.
Scott disagrees.
Scream or be naked. You can't do both. You can't be like, choose one. But dude, it was sketchy everywhere. Venice was fucked. I mean, you're talking about like fucking $20 million mansions, and in front there was just needles and tents, and it was fucking terrible. You can find videos online. So I got pretty fucking fucked up. Yeah, fucked up. But then all of a sudden, I think last year they just cleaned up. They literally just made a plan. They brought some fucking bulldozers. Like there was a parking lot right by Universal. They like gave a notice to like a bunch of homeless, and there was like a huge encampment
there was encampments. Yeah.
Oh, dude, there was like abandoned limousines that
proper
people were
village.
living in and shit. So they gave a notice, and 30 days later, they came with sheriffs, bulldozers, and the big fucking trash cans. They're like,
Where do those people go?
that's a great fucking question, man. Like,
Where do they go?
I get that they can't do it and you're knocking it down, but where do they actually go? Like, I mean, you're just pushing the problem somewhere else,
They
right?
were through the neighborhoods. You would see them individually separated and spread it out through the neighborhoods, but then...
That's the part that pisses me off, though, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that you've
just
got this
kicking
to fix the
cans down the
problem.
road.
There's no solution. I mean, how's the homeless situation in Sydney, and how do they take care of it?
If you're homeless in Sydney, it's because most of the time you want to be homeless.
Right.
But there is a lot of support out there. Not enough, and we'll always say there's not enough, but there's a lot of support out there that you can still make a pay. You can still get what we've got called Centrelink. So if you don't make money, you can be on the dole. There's a lot of systems. There's a lot of support. I dare say 200 times the amount of what anyone homeless here gets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of housing commissions where they get, whole buildings are full of people that make no money, right?
Well, they did. I saw last year. I was here again for Moto Beach, and and they had a friend of mine lives directly in front of the Cecil Hotel, and I didn't realize. I went to go pick her up. We were going out for dinner, and I pulled up, and I'm like, I recognize that hotel. I'm like, but there was that street was just full of chaos. You know what I mean? People just. And I don't know what's going on with fentanyl, but like they just kind of
fucking insane.
They just sit there and like half hinged, bent over, just like staring at their toes, just vibrating. You're just like, what the fuck is going on with these people?
What's crazy that I heard is that people want fentanyl in their drugs because it gives it a stronger effect. Obviously, they don't want enough where it kills them, but people want it. Like it's placing there because it gives it another high, a different effect. It's stronger. It's more of a buzz. So it's fucking intense.
Yeah.
Where are people getting fentanyl? I don't want some. I'm not asking. I don't want to score some, but where do they get it? Like, where do you go to get it?
Asking for a friend.
That's a great question. We'll talk about it when the cameras are off. No, I'm kidding. I have no fucking idea.
No, but
What's in the cupboard here?
So it's the cartels. So in a lot of it comes from Mexico. Most of it comes from China because it's synthetic.
Yeah.
So it's essentially fentanyl is synthetic heroin.
But pharmaceutical companies are making it?
Yeah. So
And it must be cheaper than cocaine because they cut the cocaine down with fentanyl, don't
right.
So for to make normal opioids, they need heroin, right? They need poppies.
Yeah.
That's where it all comes from. That's where the opium trade is, and that's where no one talks about that when you're getting a painkiller. They're like, oh, where does this come from? It comes from fucking heroin. It comes from poppy fields. That's where it all comes from. So
Afghanistan.
all the opium trade is. You know what I mean? That's another story for that. But like fentanyl is all synthetic, so it's so cheap to make.
Right.
So they're cooking it in labs, right? And so the Chinese are making it. They can make everything bigger and faster and cheaper. So they're pumping it, and you know what I mean. They're just selling it massively. It's fucking scary. Like I lost my best friend last year. Is my mic cutting out or my earphones?
It might be your mic. I mean your earphones.
But yeah, he just a normal dude. Went out, met a couple girls in a bar. He was doing on a job site out in Toronto. Met a couple girls. Did a bump. Boom, gone. The girls
That's
just
insane.
Girls took off, didn't call 911 or nothing. They just fucking left him in his apartment. And his boss on Monday morning is like, hey, what the fuck's scored? Sent one of the other guys over to knock on his door, see if he got pissed and slept in or whatever. And yeah, dude was fucking dead. He'd been there 3 days.
That's fucking terrible, man.
But
it's happened. It's been happening to celebrities. It's been happening to a lot of people, man.
Yeah. Well, and like I was in the pharmacy the other day and I saw Narcan. So I didn't know you could buy it like over the counter. Narcan, so it's like an EpiPen for fentanyl.
Oh,
so like
really?
So yeah, a lot of people.
That's how casual it fucking
is. It's just like
up.
if you party these days, you buy a Narcan pen and just keep it in your pocket.
Oh, dude, I'd definitely get one if I was fucking partying that hard.
Does it work if you eat sort of shellfish?
I don't know, but so a bunch of my friends they went to Miami on a holiday, and one of the guys said he went off and tried to get some gear, and just did a bump, and right there on the street just dropped, and the ambulance came, and they wouldn't give him Narcan. The ambulance won't. The the paramedics have been told not to do it anymore.
Right,
Because the thing is,
reactions and shit.
no, it's so when you come out of your when you wake up, a lot of people get really aggressive and hit the paramedics, get violent.
Wow, yeah.
Because you don't know where you are. You're in this kind of crazed state. You don't know what's just happened. You wake up and you know what I mean? And so they're not like, they put you in an ambulance and they take you to the hospital and let them do it. And that trip to the hospital, that could be life and death.
Right.
That's why a lot of people are also dying from that, because the first responders aren't responding anymore.
Yeah, it's like I used to lifeguard, and like one of the first things that we learned was like, if somebody's drowning, don't fucking approach them, because they're just gonna jump on you and drown you. So it was just like, grab the buoy and fucking like grab the buoy, you know, because that's your first reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is and we won't get too stuck on this topic, but this is where illegal drugs and legal drugs come into play. If you legalize them, the quality of drugs is going to be obviously tested and better, and you know what you're going to get. You make it illegal, you're not really preventing anybody from doing drugs. People just now have to get it from sources that they don't know what the fuck's in it and where they got it from.
And you're propagating the drug trade, you know what I mean? The illegal drug trade. If it's legal,
right? Like
it's
marijuana,
like weed,
like weed. Now you can go and fucking get a menu, and you can see who grew it, what they grew it with, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, it's so bad in Western Canada, in British Columbia. It's just it's just like in the worst parts of the states, people are dropping dead everywhere, and it's just a massive problem. And so there's a guy last year or 2 years ago who opened a shop called the Drugstore. It was a actual mobile store. I think he started in a location and then he went mobile. But he sold cocaine.
It's usually the opposite, right? They start mobile and then they get
yeah, exactly. But he sold cocaine, MDMA, ketamine. He sold like all Class A drugs. You could only buy 2 grams. He'd limit it to that, but it was all checked and there's zero fentanyl in it. It was all because he was like, listen, I just want to fucking help these people because they're getting everyone's dying. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're all gonna get drugs anyway. So that it's just like he's kind of doing a public service. Obviously, it's massively illegal, and the cops kind of shut him down after a while. But they let him kind of go for a while.
Yeah.
So you can it's
fucking wild.
It's
always been
wild.
a big deal. I mean, drugs have always been a deal. Alcoholism has been a big deal. And I don't know if I blame it so much on it being illegal or being addicting or all of the above or mental health, but like it's too accessible, especially in America. I think they say America consumes 70% of all drugs in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge.
At once?
What's that?
At once?
That was last night.
Last night.
Last night was heavy.
Why does every motorcycle podcast go into drugs? Are we all just fucking junkies?
It just seems like that. I want to talk. Okay, let's talk about your guys' trip. Let's talk from day one.
Acid trip or
the fucking fentanyl
trip?
Fucking trip. Scotty, how's it been, man? Like,
far out. Where did we start? I'm trying to remember where we. Okay, so we flew from Sydney to Dallas, and we had the most amazing experience going to the Haas Museum. So
you mentioned that
Bobby.
beautiful.
So hold on, go back because we started the podcast in Sydney. Right,
that's
I flew
right.
to Sydney for a week to start the podcast with these boys there.
So should we start with you and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
jump
You,
to okay.
you
so
start
fly
in Sydney and then
Okay, yeah,
I'll take over.
So,
or do we do like a Quentin Tarantino where like the middle's the end? And
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fucking editing.
But yeah, so when we we've been kind of look at that shit podcast guest.
the fuck is this guy, dude?
What the fuck?
You have to buy us a
it's
case of
fucking-
beer now.
It's fucking rolling too.
Fucking rolling.
rolling.
Should we connect them to the Bluetooth and be what the fuck, dude?
No, but so we've been talking about this for a while now. It was
Talking
just
about what?
the podcast, like
Right.
starting.
Oh,
the
the starting
podcast.
the thing.
Yeah. And I kind of started poking Mark a few months back. I'm like, hey, listen, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this? Because the gaps of all our availability and stuff's kind of closing up. And he's like, fuck it, I'm doing a throttle roll. So fly over. You can MC my event. And
So Throttle Roll is like a motorcycle street party in Sydney.
kind of like what
Roland
Roland did the other day, a bit smaller
Right.
version of that. No racing, but like bikes and music and food and beer and stuff.
Yeah.
And a great event. And so I flew over to do that. Obviously, he needed to justify paying my flights to Australia. So he's like, okay, you can work all day and you can MC my event. He told me I wasn't allowed to swear either. So I get up there. I thought I was just bringing the bands on as well. And then I get handed a stack of papers, about 10, 15 sheets long with like lines of dialogue. I'm like, holy fuck. You probably put me to
Had
work.
to make sure all the sponsors got a shout out.
And then the stage crew was run super tight. So I'd get up to announce a band and he'd be like, you've got 23 seconds. I'm like, what? I'm like, how am I going to say all that? I'd be like, get out there, and I'm already kind of like nervous because I don't want to swear, and I'm like my brain's just going But anyway, so we did that, and then we kind of we started the podcast. We did our first one, just us talking shit. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, so
Right. Nobody does.
Doing a bit of an introduction
Yeah,
to
just
each
an
of
intro
us.
of
A bit like what we've just done here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we did. Who did we do that? We did Tommy.
Tom from Purpose Built
from
Moto.
Purpose Built Moto.
Did Ben Branch from
Ben Branch from
Solidrome.
Solidrome. You know Solidrome, the website and Instagram.
No, I
site.
don't.
He does like it's
Basically all the shit that you want that you can't afford.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's like a men's.
No wonder I haven't heard
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
mad. It's mad.
It's like bikes,
Gasoline
cars,
culture.
planes, trains, watches, anything cool. You
Yeah.
know. And then
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And the train.
And
Buy
then,
2 trains, get a car free or something.
yeah, and then we took the 15-hour long straight journey straight to Dallas, and I'll hand that over to Scotty.
And that was one painful flight.
The Airbnb there was great, wasn't it?
Well, Partridge got his own little seat in the emergency exit in front of us, but I was in a sandwich with Mark, who's a big guy, and then an even bigger guy, this Aussie guy next to me. I'm just like, I couldn't put my arms down.
He's never been so turned on in his life.
It was hot.
It was a pure meat
amazing.
sandwich.
Oh my God. How many hours?
15 hours.
Yeah, but these guys both
Yeah.
slept for at least 8 of those hours.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
where you
But he
can't
I
did.
was
sleep.
awake the whole
Yeah,
fucking
it's
time.
hard for me to sleep, man.
But then, yeah, we went to Dallas. So the Haas Museum is amazing. I don't know whether you know the background, but Bobby Haas, he made a lot of money, I think in the 80s, selling Dr. Pepper. He bought it cheap.
He wasn't
sold
selling
it.
cans of Dr. Pepper.
He owned the whole
sold the
company. Yeah. And he fell in love with motorbikes later on in his life, and he's just filled these warehouses with classic bikes, and also he's got a custom sort of side to the gallery as well.
Do you guys know why he called it Dr. Pepper?
No, he bought it. It was already
Oh,
Dr.
it was
Pepper.
already Dr.
Yeah. He just, I think they just rebranded it all.
He bought it. I think they sort of
He used to buy-
amalgamated
he
a
used to
few
buy
brands,
companies,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
buy and sell companies.
put them all together as a sort of maybe a fizzy drinks sort of company and sold it. And then he was able to just do whatever he wanted dream-wise.
Yeah. So he has 232 motorbikes there. Amazing. Like if
And you were describing it's by year that you kind of like.
yeah, so the
in the
classic one,
first
he's almost got one for every year, and it starts at 1899, which was I think it was a Peugeot.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
Wait,
and it
Harley
just goes-
Davidson wasn't the first motorcycle in the world?
No, can you believe it?
That's fucking
And
weird.
it won't be the last.
And it wasn't American? What? It wasn't the first?
Yeah,
Harley's
so
not
it's just
actually
incredible.
Oh.
Here we go.
Here-
It was it Scotland or England?
I've got
No, I think
no
it's
idea.
I think
It's
it's Scotland.
Scottish,
Scottish.
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah.
No. Siri.
You mean Jaime?
Yeah.
Jaime.
Yeah, Jaime. Yeah. It's a beautiful museum. I heard it's outstanding. So
Oh,
it
you
starts
have
off,
to get there.
Yeah.
You
gotta
have
get
to
there
get
soon
there.
because they're
They're
it
gonna
might be
close
closed
it.
in a year. If they don't find a new custodian who's going to take it and take care of it the way they want it to be taken care of, then they'll split the collection.
Yeah. So part of the reason we're here was because of that. Bobby's will, Bobby passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately. God rest his soul. But part of the will was to give back a lot of the custom bikes to the builders, and the rest, I think, I don't know.
Whatever they agree with. It was either
Yeah.
they keep it, like Anthony said, or they sell it out. I like the idea of selling out as well, because then everyone's got a piece of something that he's owned, and that sort of legacy of him continues. But for us, it was just the perfect backdrop to, well, one, catch up with Stacey, but two, also to do more podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, so Stacey was Bobby's partner. She pretty much started it with him. So, yeah, it was great to meet up with her. And Craig Rodsmith was there. He's an Aussie custom bike builder that
He's
lives in America.
He's a cunt. He's a complete cunt.
He's a complete cunt.
He's a proper cunt.
He's a proper cunt.
He's a proper cunt.
You know, this is on video,
He's a
right?
good cunt.
He's a sick cunt. He's a sick cunt.
He is a good cunt.
Yeah.
Good cunt, nice cunt, like a.
Sick cunt.
Can we say cunt on this podcast?
I think we
fuck
just
you
did
want.
50 times, mate.
I'll just say like in Australia it means candy or helmet or something. He's a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So after that, you guys came to.
To La La Land.
We flew Jay Shire out from Boston. So she owns this business called Madhouse Motos, and Lebanese girl, absolutely lovely, builds some amazing motorbikes, and sort of, you know, she's the OG, right? She's so good at what she does. So we flew her out and did
building
a
bikes
podcast with her as
11
well,
or 10 or something like that in her garden.
and that was awesome.
Fuck.
So we got 3 podcasts under our belt in Dallas. We're only in Dallas for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then we flew over to LA. We were here for one night. I got the boys' accommodation on the water. The rest is history.
Hold on. He says on the water. So let's wind it back to Dallas. So we arrive in Dallas after a 15-hour flight. I've not slept. These two have both slept. And so they're feeling quite fresh. I'm like, fucked.
Is it the cocaine?
Yeah, it was all the fentanyl and cocaine that I took on the plane to try to help me sleep. And so then we get here, and he's like, "Oh, dude, the Airbnb's sick. We're gonna have fucking 3 bedrooms. It's lovely. It's fucking nice place."
It's right on the water.
No,
You're talking about Dallas. All right.
So we
There is no water in Dallas.
just concrete.
It's right on the sewer.
And so we get there, and it takes us half an hour to figure out how to get inside, and then we get in, and we walk in, and like, oh, this place is fucking lovely. We walk down, oh, 1 bedroom, that's lovely. 2 bedrooms, oh, lovely. Where's the fucking 3rd bedroom, you fucks?
Uh-oh.
And we're like, oh, we couldn't figure it out. And obviously it's a pull-out bed in the
living
lounge.
room
On the
yeah.
couch.
But there's not like no curtains, so you got like a massive bay window, just kind of, you know.
So we slept together.
So-
Let's cut.
cut to the
to the
chase.
chase.
And Scotty snores like a fucking dead man, and fucking he's got a sleep apnea machine. So it's either sleep with Darth Vader or sleep with a snoring fucker. And I'm just like, holy shit.
How's a dead man snore? I want to know that. That's
Like
quiet.
like you, mate.
So I don't snore.
So he's dead asleep.
Yeah.
I just think he's racist and he wanted to sleep with a white guy, not a brown guy.
Come on, you'll always be my brown bro. but
Fuck. It's getting very racial.
oh, so racist.
So anyways, they had sex and,
So, yeah,
and they've
yeah.
got a kid coming in 9
So-
months.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then
What color is he going to be?
beige.
If he comes out black, I'm going to be.
Beige. If he comes out with red hair,
It's Roland's kid.
Roland was
So then we're like, I'm like, fuck, okay, so I still haven't really got a good night's sleep yet.
Yeah.
So then we're like, okay, fuck, we're gonna go to LA. So we land in LA. He's like, oh, dude, this Airbnb, this is Mark, by the way. Dude, this Airbnb is just fucking sick. We've all got our own bedrooms this time. It's right on the water. It's fucking legit. I'm like, sweet. So me and Scotty are all excited.
We're so looking
We're
forward
pulling
to
down
it.
like to the port in Marina Del Rey. I'm like, oh, there's some nice fucking places right on the water down there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, sweet. So
We're looking at the penthouse.
yeah, we're
going
looking
up
at all the
there.
penthouses. I'm going, which one is it? Which one is
fuck
it?
out
Like,
of
we in this one? Are we in that
And
one?
I'm building it up as we're driving, right? I'm like, yeah, boys, that's
You're
right
not even
on
playing
the
it down,
water.
yeah,
This
yeah.
thing's beautiful.
Yeah.
I made sure on the
we got to take
itinerary.
jet skis to get to it.
I made sure on the itinerary it didn't say anything. It just had
Yeah.
the address location.
Yeah. So then Mark calls the owner, and the owner of the Airbnb. He he kind of shows up and who's walking us to this place. I'm like, why do we park here? And we're walking way down the other end of this parking lot. I'm like, that's weird to have a parking space like so far away from your apartment.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so maybe it's just whatever. So we get like halfway down the quayside, and it's like, and I just hear him and Mark talking. He's like, oh yeah, the boat. He's like, I'm like, I just look at Scotty. I'm going, did this motherfucker just say boat?
Why, he
And like, I'm looking, and there ain't no 250-foot Sunseekers or
Yeah, I was
super
like-
yachts or like nice big sexy looking yachts.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they're all little small sailboats, like where we were.
They're like a raft.
And I'm like, you motherfucker. So sure enough, he opens the gate. We walk out to this quay, and we're on a 35-foot like old Jeannot like 35-year-old sailboat. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it was fucking
Beautiful.
It was everything I wanted it to be when I was planning this out 8 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And I found this boat and I'm just like, these boys are going to fucking hate me, but I need to do this because I know that the look on their face is going to make me feel
Did you
endless
record it
amounts
at
of
least?
happiness.
Yeah.
It was nighttime, so it was like, it's not as if I could get their reaction on GoPro.
Right.
I recorded them afterwards. I had the GoPro recording the whole time, so I'll look back at it, but I recorded the boys afterwards to get their interactions. And to be fair, they were upset, but they were pissing themselves laughing at the same
It was
time.
bloody
It was
funny.
so funny. You know, we're just so tired. We just got off the plane. It was like already midnight or something, or 10 o'clock or something. And we're just like, fuck.
And they had individual bedrooms.
Yeah, well, we made him sleep in the fucking galley because it was his fucking.
You didn't get a bedroom.
It was his great idea.
Yeah. So I took he took the master.
I couldn't
galley,
even
took the
sleep
other
that
two.
night. Remember, I was just like shivering. I was waking up hot and cold. Fucking
Good thing I
whole night.
got out of bed at like 3:30 in the morning and I walked to go take a piss, and thank God I did because the boat was sinking. There was 6 inches of water.
You over exaggerate so fucking much.
Boat
What do you
was
mean?
sinking.
I stepped into the toilet.
And you swam into the
I
toilet.
swam into the toilet, right? I swam up.
Swam into the bathroom.
Swam
to
into
the
the bathroom to the toilet. No, I stepped in, and the water
There's
was
just aqua turds
the
everywhere.
water was above my ankle.
Were you drunk and you stood in the toilet?
No, because it's like a wet room, right? So
Right,
it's
right.
so obviously the drain, you know, when
you saved
when
their
you have
lives.
that. So I saved their lives. These
Oh my
guys.
God,
We
they
would've
fucking owe you.
No, he didn't wake us up. He just swam out.
I just,
I just,
I packed,
he went to the hotel.
I packed all my bags and I put them outside on the quay. But as I was going out, Mark woke up. So oh shit, man! I was just fucking, I was just pumping the.
Come.
I'll turn the pump on.
Saving
I'll
you
drain
guys.
the
I
bilge.
thought he was trying to start the fucking boat because I just hear motors or pumps or something running and I'm half a fucking sleep because we've been drinking. Like every night that we've been here, we've been drinking, right? So it's 3:30 in the morning. We had an early night, which was midnight, and he's telling me this story, and I'm trying to fucking take all the information in. And then he goes, "All right, I'm going to bed," and I'm like, "What the fuck? What about if this floods again while we're sleeping?" I'm like, "I'm going to be the first one dead because I'm the closest one to the fucking bathroom." And so I've looked at the time. I've gone at
Water's not
3:30.
fire. It's not going to like come out and burn you first.
Bro, it just slowly creeps up.
We don't
goes-
know that, man.
Sneaks into my nostrils and I drown.
No, a shark guides in because of the
Goes
water.
into your sleep apnea machine and up the tube and fucking drowns you straight.
So I set the alarm. So I didn't want to wake up, but I set the alarm for 3.5
didn't wanna
hours.
wake up.
For 3.5 hours, I set the alarm because I was sitting there going, if that happens again, it took 3.5 hours from when we first went to sleep.
just about
And
to
I'm a
come
nice
out
fucking
of
guy. So I woke up at 7 a.m. and then I couldn't get back to sleep. That's the story of this whole trip.
And no sleep.
It's minimal sleep. It's just been, we've done 9 podcasts and it's just been
total
such,
or in LA?
in total. So we did that accommodation, which was the Thursday night. And then Friday night, we went and stayed down at Huntington Beach. So we're going for Roland Sands event. Let's see if I can get this right. Moto Beach Classic.
There
nice.
you go.
Fuck, that took forever.
Took you a while.
And so we went to that event and we got this cute little Airbnb. And then
Oh, you were there. You saw
Yeah,
it?
And then
Yeah.
obviously
The
that's
Love
where,
Shack.
That's where we met you.
It was one bedroom and one big bed, and like a heart shaped bed that you guys.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Scott said, it was a Love
Mirrors
Shack,
on the
man.
ceiling.
Yeah.
So much sex.
So,
It's just
so much. Sex.
didn't it smell like sex when you walked in the
Bro,
door?
it smelled like cum and alcohol. I was like, the floors are sticky. Why are the floors sticky?
You should have touched the ceiling.
That wasn't alcohol.
That wasn't alcohol, huh?
And then obviously we got to fucking meet you, which has
Yeah.
been awesome for us.
And then fucking, it's funny because I didn't even realize that event was happening that day. I just knew it was happening sometime, and I wasn't watching it. And then you guys were like, "You want to go to the event?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll show up for 5 minutes." And then a few beers later, took some shots in the VIP
You were
area.
there for hours, man.
Oh, dude, I was there for hours. And then I started getting a little buzz, and I was like, dude, this is such a rich man's fucking, like, let's get motorbikes, have them go in circles, and have people hang out and eat fucking chips that look like motorcycles.
Yeah,
I was like, this is
tasty.
it's very tasty.
You should have stayed at the Love Shack that night.
Oh, dude, I was like,
we had spare room.
I was like, if I have one more drink, I won't make it home.
You
today.
could have stayed at
Yeah.
ours.
I couldn't do it, but what a fucking great event. The live wires. What do you guys think about the live wires? Did you guys
Well, I
ride
think
them?
I'm pretty sure you know what I feel about that, Mike. By the footage you've got on your Senate.
Yeah. I know.
I was telling everyone that Anthony's only tested half the bike because the front half wasn't touching the
Wasn't
ground the entire
at all.
fucking time.
At all.
Dude, I fucking love that bike. so much.
Which bike are we talking about?
The Del Mar,
The Del Mar.
the live wire Del Mar.
He's just saying that because he wants one for free.
I do want one for free, and hopefully I can make that happen. Well, not for
I'll
free.
be honest. I used to
build
be the general manager fucking like 10, 15 years ago for Harley Davidson. So I went on a lot of test rides. I've never seen anybody have so much fun on a bike than you on a test ride.
Yeah. I was
like you naturally clicked on the fucking bike, and it looks like your cock was like inside
plugged
the bike.
into
And
it.
the bike was
I actually
inside
did.
your
I did plug my cock into the bike.
That's how he
It
gets
looks
all
like
of
you
his
two were
energy.
penetrating each other. You were one, like an avatar that fucking connects.
But like honestly, I got on that thing and I was just like right away. I just kind of, got my bearings and like this fucking thing just fits. It just works. It's a great seating position. It's just like right where you want it to be, a hooligan bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got loads of different bikes and I love all motorcycles. I'm never gonna give up my fucking ice engine bikes, but that to me, electric bikes are not the new. It's not taking over. For me, it's just a fucking another fucking cool toy to put in the box, right? And that if you're people bitch and moan about the range on it because you get like what 80 miles or something. But like if you're ripping around the city, you're not doing 80 miles in a fucking day. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going from here to here and here, and how are you going to get
even most people that go to work, I think like the average is like 40 miles.
Yeah, and like my only fear is when I get one of those things, I probably won't have my license for very long because it's just a fucking complete hooligan bike. It's so fucking fun. It just and you have to ride it like that.
I've got a question for you, Anthony. Yeah. Do you have a license?
I do now. Okay. I do now. Yeah. I procured
like a
one.
Mexican license or something.
We're from
Spanish license. Spanish license. I had to redo my test. So I had a Canadian license.
You don't have to lie, man.
I had a Canadian license, and that expired, and I was quite poor, so I couldn't. I had to fly back home to like get a new license. You can't just
What does it expire? Like 5 years or?
It was 10 years in Canada.
10 years.
And so I was like, shit, I need to renew my license, but I was broke. I was working at a scuba diving center in Menorca, and I just couldn't get home in time to do it. And then if you let it lapse 1 year, then you have to start from scratch. So it's kind of like you got to start from the beginning. So I was like, fuck it, and then for pretty much my whole life in Spain, I was like, I didn't have a license. I was just driving around, riding bikes, and
I think every motorcyclist has had that 1 year in life where it's like, fuck, I don't have a license.
I own one of the biggest custom motorcycles
like,
in one of the biggest custom motorcycles in Spain, 2 doors down from the police station, and I didn't have a motorcycle license.
Yeah, you don't need it. You know all the cops.
I knew all the cops, of course, but it was the chief of police for the local cops. He was gunning for me because I painted some yellow parking lines, like for bikes out in front of the parking lot. But you have to get a permit from the city, and they come and paint the lines once you get the permit. But I was like, I don't need a permit. I'm just going to paint the yellow lines. And then the chief saw them one day, and he's like, fuck, I'm going to fucking do this, guy. So, but all my buddies I knew all the cops. So as soon as he left the office on his bike to come bust me at my shop, my buddy calls. He goes, hey, chief's coming down to fucking do you for those lines. So I got my my staff to run out there with gray paint over the lines really quick and park the shop van over the lines. So he pulls up and like there's no lines on the floor. He's like, yeah, motherfucker. So since that day, he was gunning for me. And then he caught up with me about a year later, and he's like, if you don't get your license, I'm gonna do you.
I'm gonna do you.
I'm gonna fuck you in the ass, boy.
Is it gonna fuck you in your ass or kill you, bro?
Yeah.
That's pretty extreme.
Both.
But yeah, so then I had to get then it's the shortest license in history as well, because I had my license. I rode my bike to get my license, and then once I got my license, then it was completely illegal because you have to take a car license before you can get your bike license. You can't just go for a bike and not have a car. So I had to do the car, but then now I'm in the system in Spain, and I've got a car license, but I don't own a car. I've only got a motorcycle. I've got a shop van, but I've got the car or
That's
the bike.
Business name.
Yeah, so I ride my bike to go get thing, and I'm riding my bike home from I've got my little paper like temporary permit, right? And I get pulled over at a traffic stop, and I'm like, oh fuck, this ain't gonna go well. Hopefully, I know the cop.
Right.
And usually I did, or I can get I can
or
get out.
You know his sister,
or
or
something. Or his grandma, and so he pulls me over, and it wasn't anybody I knew, and I couldn't call anybody. It was too short a time, and he's like, boom, took 6 points off my license. You only get 8 as a new driver, so he took 6 points and a $450 euro fine. So I had 2 points left on my license half an hour after I got my license, and then 2 weeks after that, I got in a huge fight with my girlfriend at the time. And she was recovering alcoholic. She was a bit crazy, and So I was either like stay and like it was one of those relationships was either fucking or fighting. There was no in between. It was like all passion or all fucking the house is getting smashed to bits.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta fucking leave because this is gonna go mental. And so I was drunk, got on my bike and just fucked off to my buddy's house and ran into another police control. And I fucking was like, I was way too drunk to drive and completely lost my license 2 weeks after having it for 8 months.
Fuck, man. At least you had it for that 2 weeks.
Exactly. I was legal
At
for
least
2
you had
weeks.
it for 2 weeks. What's Mark? What's the most? It sounds like your whole fucking trip's been outstanding and amazing. You guys have had amazing interactions. I got to witness at the Roland Sands event how many people were losing their minds seeing you guys and approaching you guys. But top one epic moment of this trip that you're just like, oh my God, can you talk about it or?
Yeah, of course. Man, there's been so many epic parts. I mean, there's two. I mean, one, it's always nice to meet the guys on the ground that are helping you out with events, right?
Right.
So we've got 900 events around the world. There's not possibly a way for me to maintain 900 relationships.
Yeah, you have
with
2
those
arms
people.
and 3 legs.
Exactly.
You can only do so much.
2.5 legs. And so when you sort of come here, it's great to catch up with the team that make that happen. And that was the team that you met as well, right? All the guys down there, 2.25, that was good. And so one, that's always a highlight for me because it's really nice connecting with those guys. And then to be fair, this 7 days has probably been 7 of the best days I've had in a very long time. And don't get me wrong, it's been stressful. We've been traveling lots. Half the time that we're going out, half the time we're going out, I don't even want to go out. It's these boys forcing me. I'm like, I just want to fucking go to bed. I've just become this old man. But the best part for me would probably be yesterday. So yesterday we interviewed Robbie Madison, and that was super fucking cool. Fellow Australian.
badass, yeah.
I've known him for a few years. I teed that up when we started figuring out who we were going to get in the podcast, and he was so receptive to it. And that was super cool being at his house, his family, watching them do tricks and stuff, and then obviously going
watching
into
his
the
little
interview.
kids do backflips into the foam pit was fucking
So
insane.
cool. And then we go past Roland Sands' house for drinks and the podcast, and I see these DJ decks in his garage, and he's gone inside to get some drinks, and I've gone, fuck, I haven't used these decks before. Let's jump on. I've jumped on. I've started mixing, and he's come out.
What is that word?
DJ decks.
Decks?
Not
Decks.
dicks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sorry.
Show us your decks,
Dick.
bro.
Show us
Decks,
your dick,
decks.
bro, decks.
Oh, because you're like, I saw those decks and I jumped on them.
those
So fucking
fucking-
He
hard.
loves
I
jumping
jumped on that deck.
He loves jumping on a
No,
dick.
but
this boy.
it's the accent. I'm just clarifying for America. I don't
yeah,
want
no,
America to be. So,
Man,
so you jumped on.
so
You
I
jumped
used-
on Roland Sands' dicks.
Yeah,
Decks.
so I used to be a dick jockey.
Disc.
Disc
jockey. Got it.
Jockey.
I had to ask, bro.
So I started playing, and he sort of come back to the garage where
I'm
he's
just gonna cut the whole podcast to that.
Yeah, that's it.
There's your soundbite.
That's it. Got you.
Should we start again? Should we go back to the beginning?
Oh, dude.
No,
I'm
no,
cutting.
no, we're not cutting. This is uncut, motherfucker.
So, and you guys just started battling, right?
Well, yeah, I started DJing, and he's come up, and he goes, "You played?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been playing since I was 14," and then we just went into. Basically, it wasn't a head to head. It was more of a collaborative mix. So we were both controlling the mixer. He was using some additional sound effects, and then we just started fucking mixing. And I'm just sitting there going, now I'm getting amped up, right? Because we're playing fucking big tunes, and I was exhausted when I was driving to Roland's house. Like, we've had a big day already, a lot of fucking driving, and I am so tired. I'm basically like, guys, the moment that my eyes get heavy, one of you guys are driving.
Yeah.
And then we get there, pump all this music out, and then we go straight into the podcast. It goes for like an hour and 40 minutes. And then he looks at me and he goes, "We jumping back on the decks?" And I'm like, fucking oath we are. And then we went straight back onto the decks and kept on mixing for about another half an hour.
It so
There was
sounds
some
like
dinner in there at
dicks.
some point.
Yeah.
That was a pretty
And there was
epic
some
day.
dinner. It was mad.
It's going to be a day we'll remember for the rest of our lives,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then we were driving home, and I was like, "Fuck, why don't we go to the comedy store see some comedy? It's still early. We can have one night cap before we go." And we went to the comedy store, and
We were funnier than the comedian.
yeah, it was like
Did you guys see any big names?
it was what's his name? Don Burris. He's
He's no one.
He's quite a big comedian.
he's
He's
quite
been around
big here.
Yeah.
Well-
He's a big American comedian. He's pretty fucking dark. He's like quite famous for getting girls to spit in his mouth on stage. He does like fucking.
Oh my God,
he's
yeah.
pretty dark.
The guy's a weirdo.
But it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's
He
just
was
like
pretty abusive.
Seriously, it was too much.
He has a show.
People walked out.
Anthony was getting turned on.
Really?
He has a show, and it's not like his stand-up. It wasn't doing stand-up. He was just kind of doing like crowd work and sitting there, and he did a couple other comedians come up, and he's just kind of he's using that to get bits for his material. But
most people are practicing there.
Yeah, especially at that hour. You know what I mean? It's the OR, and it's late at night, so it's just kind of the guy walks in, like as soon as we walk in there, he's like, okay, just to I've just got to. Introduce you to this part of the show. It's pretty fucking loose. Like if you want to fucking get on stage and get your dick out, fucking feel free. You can shout out, get involved, fucking spit, swear, fucking whatever you want to do. We're like, oh, okay, it's that kind of party. So we walked in and it was.
We basically got there after all the comedians had finished, and he was just trying to soak up the time to justify the money we just spent.
They were like, we got some fucking clowns in here. We just. They paid $60, $100 to get in.
It was just, I think we only paid 10. They gave us a discount, so that was all right.
Yeah,
that's still not.
What time was this? Like 1 a.m.
Yeah. And they were shutting at 2 or something.
The annoying part was, I'm tired again driving back from Long Beach to here, and then we probably passed it on the fucking highway or something to get back. Because then we get back home and I'm like, actually, fuck it, let's go out. And then it's another half an hour drive to get there, and then I think we got home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock. It was a late one again.
How did you guys meet? Like what were you guys like at a sex party? Or?
It starts with Scott.
It's a long story, but
it starts with you.
Between all of us.
No.
But we did when I first started Pipeburn, I was probably a year or two into it, we did a ride, like Pipeburn ride in Sydney. And I don't know, we probably got 20 guys turned up, all like on custom bikes, SR400s. And Mark was one of those guys. And he was super pumped, super keen. He was like, I want to do this every week. I'm like, dude, I've got young kids. I can't do this every week. I think that's pretty much how you started Sydney Cafe Races, right?
Yeah, so I had an SR500 with a little Honda monkey tank, like 4 liters of fuel. So I'm emailing these guys, asking them so many fucking questions just to determine what the fuel stops were. Yeah. So I didn't break down, and then I ended up
always the guy you want to ride with, the guy with the fucking tiny tank.
Fashion over function.
And then I had another 2 liters in containers on the back of the bike, and so
20-ounce bottles.
I did that ride, and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking epic! So many cool bikes."
And everybody else is like, "This fucking guy." He's stopped 3 times.
I started Sydney Cafe Races to be able to do that more on a weekly and a monthly basis. And then off the back of Sydney Cafe Races, obviously Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, Throttle Roll, Scram Eyewear, all the different businesses that I run.
Now, Distinguished Gentleman Ride, because you're saying that very casually, and then I started it after I started this. But when did you get involved with Movember, and what do you mean? You just started off one ride and you just said,
so it was a photo of Don Draper from Mad Men, John Hamm, or I think whatever his name is. I think it's John Hamm.
Yeah.
And I've never watched an episode of it, but he was on a cover of GQ magazine, and that picture got posted in one of our groups, and I've gone, oh, fuck, that looks good, man. This dude's handsome motherfucker on a motorcycle. What a great way to break the stereotype that not all motorcyclists are 1%ers. Right? Everyone stereotypes us. They think that we're angry. They think that we're violent. They think that we're hoons. And I'm like, we can use this and show people that motorcyclists can be your mom, your dad, your brother, irrespective. It could be anyone, right? And so I put together the idea of the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, and the whole basis was, let's go for a ride through the heart of the city. Let's wave to people. Let's be courteous, and let's show them a different side to the person riding the motorcycle.
Right.
And in the first year, I had 64 mates from around the world, including David from El Solitario and a fair few guys going, hey, we're going to host a ride with you. We think it's a great idea. So I put together some quick guidelines, and we had 64 rides in the first year. And then the second year, we were approached by a prostate cancer foundation, and they basically gave me the spiel that guys aren't getting tested because they still think it's a finger up the arse. They don't realize that it's a blood test. And I thought, okay, well, we're sort of breaking this, macho mentality to motorcycling. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper and start to educate.
Edit this and make this so gay.
Yeah, educate these guys that it's a blood test, and we did it, and we set a goal. The goal was
finger up the
$250,000. Fuck me, Dad.
We can arrange one for you, Scotty. I'm sure.
on the day of the event, we raised 250 grand. And by that time, it was in 145 cities around the world.
Fuck.
And then we partnered up with the Prostate Cancer Foundations globally, but there were individual relationships. So it's a lot of fucking time when you're doing something that you don't even know. Like, it was never meant to be a paycheck. It was, let's just do this, build it up, save a few lives, and palm it off to a charity that will know how to do this better than we will.
Right.
The fact of the matter is they couldn't do it better than we do. And that's why we're in the position 12 years later where, we're still kicking ass with it. And it's grown from, 64 cities to 900. We partnered with Movember about 8 years ago because we wanted to sort of basically have one relationship with a charity as opposed to the 6 or 7 that we had back then. And then as a result of losing one of our ride hosts in Austin, Jeremiah, we sort of started to prioritize the mental health side, and that connected really well with motorcyclists because there are a lot of issues that we were able to talk about, and there's a lot of people that are feeling pretty down, and during COVID it was a good time to spark that conversation up again.
Absolutely.
And we now 50% goes towards prostate cancer and 50% goes towards suicide prevention. So it's
strong,
It's
man.
been a life-saving event for a lot of people.
Oh my God. Yeah, for sure.
And it's always interesting when you've got these events. And to be fair, sometimes it's a little bit draining as well. And I don't say that in a bad way, but more emotionally, because you're the guy that started the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. People know that they can come up to me and talk to me in confidence, and that we can talk about these issues. But sometimes you've got days
It gets heavy.
where you're having that conversation 10 times. And you're in bed by 6 p.m. because you're just exhausted. Like London, when we did the London ride together, I think I was in bed by 6 p.m. that night. Didn't even go and party. Didn't even celebrate the end of DGR. I was just drained.
Wow, man. I mean, amazing.
That's where we met.
Yeah,
Really,
so
that's
that was the segue into, I guess, me building DGR, getting sponsored by Triumph Motorcycles, and also having a relationship with the Bike Shed in London. They were our hosts. Dutch and Vicky are good friends of mine, and they put on a show, and Anthony had his one of his Yamahas at the show, and I saw this Yamaha and I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't think I actually knew you before then.
No.
I met you specifically there that first time, and I'd flown 24 hours to get to this show to be there for 3 days and fly back to Sydney, and then I met this motherfucking cunt. and it changed my life. Like, he's probably my closest motorcycling buddy. Like, it's just, we've done rides. Man, we've been invited to do test rides in Catalonia. We've ridden bikes in a whole lot of different places
all
together.
over the world. It's been emotional.
Yeah.
This whole
What a
fucking
journey.
trip.
This is the longest I've been with him at any one go. So, like, I'm going to be with Scotty at the airport crying that I miss Anthony. I mean, this guy's been he's in Sydney for a week and with him here for a week. So it's been 2 awesome weeks. And then obviously Scott and Anthony would have met as a result of Anthony and I.
Yeah, we met in Austin, I think, first time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
2018.
I think
Where we had probably the best weekend, apart from this last week.
That was epic.
Yeah, it was just a shorter version of what we're doing now.
Yeah, it was
without the
epic.
podcast, and it was just it just clicked. Like, I think we'd probably talked a few times, online with Pipeburn and probably some of my bikes on the site or something like that.
We
But
featured your Yamaha years ago.
exactly, yeah. And but yeah, we never met. Obviously, I'm not going to fly to Australia as much as Mark flies out of
Unless
Australia.
someone else pays him.
Unless someone else pays for my flights. But yeah, it was good. And so we met Scotty in Austin. It was just like, he's one of the fucking boys. He's one of us. You know what I mean? It just kind of clicked. And then the chance that we got to get back together when Mark, because I do another podcast in England with Charlie Borman and a friend of ours, Ben Bowers.
I've heard of him. Awesome. How did you do that?
Well, they're friends.
your guys-
They're friends of mine that I met through the DGR.
Really?
I met Charlie. I met Charlie at the DGR, and I met Ben at the DGR because he was working for Movember. At the time, so he helped host the rides in London and worked with the Bike Shed and all those guys. So
The amount of relationships that event has created is fucking
Man, we're talking marriages.
insane.
We're talking future
marriages,
future divorces. A lot of people have come together at that
brotherhood,
event.
friendships. I mean,
didn't someone actually propose at the DGR?
Yeah. Our San Diego host actually got married at DGR as well because he met his partner through DGR. The cool thing about it is, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are socially lonely. And I think a lot of us guys got into motorcycles because we didn't have that big friendship network, and that's your hobby. It's your weekend. You've got some free time, go for a ride. But you quickly realize how fast you can build really strong relationships because you've all got the same passion of motorcycles.
Yeah.
So what I love about DGR, and I only realized it during COVID, is it's great that we're raising money for charity. It's great that we're raising sort of awareness, getting guys to get checked for prostate cancer, being able to have those conversations about their mental health. But then it is also equally important that they come together and get to go for a ride together because they're forming these in-person relationships. And that's a social connectivity that you don't have when we're going through COVID. It was a great one for those guys to still be able to get out there and do that. And, there are a lot of guys out there that have got a friendship circle now because of DGR. There are a lot of people out there that have motorcycle groups that were formed because they met at DGR and they said, like I did with Scott back then, we should do this more often. There are probably hundreds.
Like I did with Hyman. I met Hyman at Bike Shed once. He was buying a jacket, and I was like, I got that jacket. You should get it. And he's like, yeah. And I go, nice to meet you. That's it. We never talked.
Yeah.
And then last year at DGR, it was like 4 of us standing next to each other. Hey, you guys want to ride together? Yeah, let's ride together.
Yeah.
And ever since that moment, we all got on WhatsApp, and now, we're neighbors. So he lives down the street, and we work out once a week. The kids hang out. We go riding every weekend.
So you're trying to tell me that you got invited to boxing this morning as well?
Yeah.
Or was that just me?
It's usually Wednesdays. It's usually I go Wednesdays with him.
Oh, he's cheating on you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He just wanted to punch you in the face, bro. That's all it was.
He was like, I hate younger men.
Yeah. No. He fucks people up. He likes taking people there and fucking challenging them and see how fucking winded. And he's just like,
I'll go back to Sydney, take some roids, come back, and I'll fucking sort him out.
Yeah. They took me there with the 1 pound weights. They're like, all right, we're gonna hold up 1 pound weights. I was like, 1 pound weights? Get the fuck out of here. Like 30 seconds. I'm like, oh my god, you're shaking. So I went fucking out to my gym, and now I get on the Stairmaster and I hold my arms up and fucking do that for like 20 minutes. So last time I was like,
it's a good look.
1 pound.
It's a good look.
Yeah, it's a great
All I saw was this. All I saw was this.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the memes and the way we can cut this up is gonna be great. But good, continue. So DGR. So you met Charlie, and then you were like, you want to start a podcast? I was like, okay.
Well, we've been friends now again since probably 2013, since that DGR that you came over to London, and then our lives have always intertwined because I've been in I moved to England to do the TV show for Discovery Channel, and then so I've been planted in the UK permanently now for almost 7 years now. So I started kind of,
He hates it. Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I went from southern Spain to rain, so it's kind of a
yeah.
So, like,
sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying not to slag off England because I do like it. I do like England.
You just want to get the
I
fuck
just
out
don't
of
want to
there.
live there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love my family's there. I was born there. I love going to England. I love that British feel of you going down London and you get that. Oi, geezer, that.
Hey, governor.
That's
my only British.
I do like that. I do like the kind of the English vibe, but I just can't do it for fucking 7 years straight.
Right.
And the rain just kills me.
Yeah.
But
can't stand the rain.
Yeah, can't stand the rain.
You just blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, so me and Charlie. I think actually I lie. I met Charlie at the opening of the Bike Shed. When Bike Shed, London, because he's one of the founding members, and so we met. We met there. So we've just kind of.
Because that was 2012 too, right?
2000 might have been 2011.
Roughly around there. Yeah,
somewhere around there.
It wouldn't be because I only met Dutch probably 2013 or so, and him and I were walking through Shoreditch, and that's when we saw the space. And I hadn't been to London before that. I did the LA ride. I reckon we can Google this shit.
Anyways, that's where I met Charlie. And it's just, the motorcycle community, as you know, it's quite small. You know what I mean? As big as it is, it's quite small.
Yeah.
Especially, if you do certain things. And so, we just, and it wasn't, it was a couple of years ago, Ben approached me and he's like, I wanted to start a podcast. And Ben's like, yeah, okay, I want to start a podcast. I wanted to start one as well. And we just couldn't find the right time or the right thing to do it with or the right platform. And then kind of Ben just kind of went gung-ho and said, hey, let's do this. So I'm going to organize it. Me, you, and Charlie will do this podcast together, and we just kind of decided. And that our podcast stems from the DGR as well, because it's a men's, it's mental health, and it's like a mindfulness motorcycle podcast. So we have like celebrities and racers and different people on as guests, and we interview them and talk about, it doesn't have to go deep. It can be like this. It can be just fun and whatever. But if most dudes we interview, especially like guys that have been in big rock bands and, done public careers and stuff like that. And, they've all got, stories,
experience,
and they've all gone through something, especially like ex-racers, retired Formula One drivers, and things like that. When you finish such a career that's so big and you're so famous, and then all of a sudden you go to being not in the spotlight anymore, it takes a toll on people. And some people go through, rough patches. They lose their family members, they lose whatever, and so it can get quite deep. And it's really I quite like it because it's a chance for me to actually unload my shit, because we actually do have those chats, and it's in those chats where I get to go, hold on, actually, I start thinking about things, and I'm like, and I get these things off my chest because I'm talking to my mates about, like why he started the DGR and why it's so important for us to have these conversations with each other, just to check in and just say, hey, man, are you all right? Because sometimes for no apparent reason, you can just, we've all got problems in our lives, and you can just start thinking about something, and it can lead you down a fucking dark path so really quick. And if you don't talk to your mates about it, then it just manifests. You know what I mean?
You can talk to your mates sometimes about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the whole thing that Mark's been trying to do, and Movember's been doing, and all this kind of, our whole community is trying to kind of make this a normal thing. Guys, we don't have to be fucking tough biker dudes. You know what I mean? We don't have to, we're allowed to talk about shit. We're allowed to have emotions. We're allowed to fucking cry. We're allowed to, you know what I mean? We can open up to our friends and not. Okay, back in the day,
is there a line of what you can talk about and not talk about? Like where is it where it's a legitimate complaint of like, fuck, man, the children are overwhelming, my wife's overwhelming, work's too, and then where's the line where it's just like you're kind of complaining? We're like, like work sucks and I don't like my job. It's like, dude, stop complaining about it. Where's the thin line? You know what I mean?
But I think even just a complaint like that, you know what I mean? Because you're still thinking about that shit, and it's obviously
it beats you.
It beats you down. But like even if you were just complaining like that, and your mates are like, "Listen, you fucking dickhead, shut the fuck up," and that's enough for the conversation, just to like take you out of that mindset and go, you know what? Actually, right. I'm a fucking complaining cunt. You know what I mean? I don't have it that bad. Take a step back and look at the things you do have. You have fucking kids. You have a wife. You have a house. You have a fucking job.
Roof. Yeah, you have a job.
You know what I mean? You got food in the fridge. It's not that fucking bad. You know what I mean?
I was just watching a post today. You know Sad Guru?
No.
You guys ever seen him? This guy's
no.
like he's like one of the main fucking gurus from India, super famous. Anyways, he was talking about he was like talking to a crowd, and he's like, how many times has somebody walked up to you and like stabbed you? And he was like, never. He goes, well, that's the same way with your thoughts. Nobody's attacking you with your thoughts. It's you attacking yourself with your own thoughts. You are creating the damage. You are dealing with that, and people don't realize that aspect. And that's why, and I believe that's awesome and that's strong, and you need that brotherhood to say, hey, shut the fuck up, or hey, I understand, or you definitely don't need the person comparing. But then there is a thin line where I'm saying that it's just like, dude, you're for sure. Are you? But then is that like a mental health issue where it's like, dude, you don't even realize how blessed you are, or like. Well, it's again, it's all about your headspace. Now, I've started through my other podcasts. I've realized that because I've always been a really positive thinking guy, and I've had lows like but most of my lows have been, I've had 3 or 4 like 5-6 year relationships, and only kind of like when I have a breakup, and I kind of that like 2-3 week period after a breakup, it's like you think everything in the world shit, and I'd kind of bounce back out of it and I'd be fine. But that was the only kind of like times I've ever really felt kind of like I've gone into a bit of a depression, I thought, but I'm just a bit low. I'm not depressed. I'm just like, shit's not going great. I'm bummed out.
Yeah, bummed out.
This sucks.
Yeah. And then, but it wasn't till like recently that I kind of noticed, like I moved to England, and I was the complaining guy. I was like, fuck, it sucks here. And I'm like, yes, okay, it's not as nice as it was. I loved my life in Spain. It was great. But, I didn't have the money and the means to do what have the lifestyle I have now. While I was in Spain, I had a great life, but I was fucking broke. But now I'm not broke and I don't have the great life. So there's always a compromise. But I can't. You have to kind of take a step back and go, you know what? Okay, it's not all bad. You know what I mean? I've got a fucking great place. I've got great people in my life. I've got everything I need. It's just. Okay, it might be in the wrong location, but it's you gotta actually realize that you're thinking negative, and go, fuck, stop fucking being negative. Like it was like yesterday, we had the most fucking epic day ever, and we were all pretty tired, and we're driving to Roland's, we're driving into the Comedy Store, and I was just like, Robbie Madison, he's a fucking legend, you know what I mean? And Roland, before I've known Roland, I don't know how many years, but like before I met Roland, when I got into building bikes, he was my fucking hero. He built the Glory Stomper, and that bike changed the game for me, and I think it did for many people. And I was just like, I never would have thought that 20 years later, these would be some of my closest friends, and you know what I mean. And okay, not Robbie. I just met Robbie, but he's a cool fucking dude, and we know each other. But like, we just had a fucking epic day, and I said to Mark, I'm like, can you imagine how many people in our industry would have fucking loved to be a fly on the wall on our day that we just had today? We just had the most fucking epic day. We spent the day at Robbie's place in Temecula. It's fucking rad, like ranch with ramps all over the place, and his family there, and they're all cool. And then we rode to Roland's house, and we were hanging out at his house, and Nicole, his wife, ordered some food, and we were eating and drinking and laughing and doing a pod and just hanging out and watching these dickheads play, tunes on
traveling around the world and being here.
And we get to fly around the fucking world and see all these cool people.
I'm going to tell you a quick statistic. There's a statistic that says 70% of Americans have never seen the beach.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, bro. How fucking crazy. There's a statistic that's saying people that live in East LA, like I think it's like 48% or 53%, have never been to the beach.
What? It's fucking insane.
I used to live in Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is only 90 miles away from San Francisco. I knew people that never been to San Francisco. It's a 90-minute drive.
Most of my friends have never left my hometown in Canada. They don't have passports.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're fucking 50 years old. You don't have a fucking passport.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's fucking wild, man. People haven't traveled. People haven't seen, let alone have those experiences and stuff like that. And not only that, I mean, there's even smaller stuff. I have friends of mine that like own 80% of this neighborhood. They don't have kids, you know, and it's like they want to have kids, but they don't have kids. Like it's what are you comparing it to, or what are you looking for in life?
Well, you shouldn't compare it to anything. You know what I mean? That's the fucking what's that old saying? Comparison is the mother of.
Is it the devil?
I can't remember the fucking quote, but it's a good one. But comparison sucks is basically what it is.
Very poetic.
Anthony Partridge.
Yeah. There's a fucking soundbite for you. But yeah, just you can't. I do it as well. You know what I mean? We all do it.
Especially with social media.
Especially with this fucking phone in your pocket. It's fucking so hard not to. I'm welding
Get trapped.
I'm welding up a bike, and I look at one of my welds, and I fucking sit there and see fucking, Max Hazen's fucking latest bike. I'm like, you motherfucker, those welds look way better than mine. I grind it off. I'm like, I'll do another one. And you know what I mean? You just
the comparison factor.
Just like stop fucking comparing yourself to other people. You know what I mean? Just focus on your own shit. And
your welds are pretty shit though.
What's that?
Your welds are pretty shit.
My welds are pretty shit. Yeah. My welds. Oh, welds. Yeah. My welds are pretty shit.
I know you guys are schedules. You're leaving today, and I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I appreciate you coming here. To make your point even stronger, what is a success story of your guys' journey of people coming up to you and saying, "I've dealt with this, and because of you guys, I did this, or I heard about this exercise, and it changed everything." We'll start with Scott. Like what's a positive thing during this whole adventure that you guys have done, or a personal tip?
What did that hooker tell you last night? That's what he wants to know.
Don't boof fentanyl.
Changed my life. Changed my fucking life.
It saved my life, man. It really did.
And would like to thank Gary for that hot tip.
What was his name?
Dave.
His name was Freddie.
I don't know, man. There's been so many things I don't I don't know whether.
How do you keep positive? Because that's another thing that people want sometimes, right? They just want to know, what can they do? We know we got to change our mentalities, and we know we got to think positive. But what's like an exercise you do? Like for me, I went through some bad shit, and I started hitting the gym, and then I got fucking hooked on the gym, and I was like, this gym thing's fucking great. You know, I've always been active, but like I started getting hooked on the gym, and
it totally changes, doesn't it?
Changes
I
everything.
think exercise is amazing. Like I walk my dog probably every night for an hour.
Yeah,
because she needs a lot of exercise, and after I feel
great,
so much better.
So a walk outside,
just walk outside,
walk it off.
outside. Love swimming, the ocean
Swimming's
in
great,
Sydney. You just feel.
Isn't that like one of the
go into
fucking most
water.
dangerous oceans in the world?
Yeah,
Doesn't it have
Few
like
sharks.
alligators and sharks?
and we've got crocodiles.
Crocodiles. What's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think exercise is great for you mentally.
Skinny bite, big bite.
But they're both death, right?
Yeah.
What about you? What's a good story? What's a good exercise? What's something that you do to stay balanced? And when you catch yourself kind of going on this, fuck, man, I'm still in England. I'm not in LA, but
it's maintaining friendships. For me, is one of the biggest things.
Communication.
Communication, and because like I live in a really cool spot in England, but I live in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, sometimes I'll go 2 weeks without seeing anybody.
Really?
I'll like
That's
other than the grocery store, and like, you know, if I go to see my family, I've got my sister and they're about an hour away from me, but otherwise it's just us at the house, and it's just I don't see anybody else. I see my neighbors. You know what I mean? I've only got 3 neighbors on my street. I live in the middle of like farmland, and so I tend to like, and I just my shop's out on my driveway, so I just go to a shop and work, and all of a sudden you'd be like, I haven't seen another fucking human in a while. I need to, and because my friends are so far away, and most of my friends live in different countries, I just kind of I make a point to like, okay, I've got to get out of here. I've got to go see my friends. I've got to have a blowout and go, you know, have fun and not focus on work and put my phone down and just getting out of that, you know, whatever it is that kind of keeps me, because I'm a really social guy, and I need this kind of this connection, this energy. This
we all do.
My whole life.
I don't know how you do that, man.
Well, this is the thing. Like that's what I found. That's the biggest problem for me, is because I've spent my whole entire life when I lived in Canada. I'd go to school, and after school I'd be with my friends, and you know what I mean. You ditch your bags, you'd be hanging out with your mates until you had to go home for bed, and then you know when you get older you work, but you're like always with my friends, always with my best friends, never alone. I don't know, not that I don't like my own company, but I prefer hanging out with friends and just taking the piss. I like to laugh, and I can't laugh by myself. Like you look like a fucking crazy person. And so like I've just always wanted friends around me. And then I moved to Spain, and I had roommates. And then I meet other friends, and I've always had either roommates or I lived with a girl, but always surrounded with friends. And so Spain's kind of like California, where you're always on a beach having lunch, or you're at some place you meeting for dinner, and you're never really always at home. You're always doing things. Yeah. And then I moved to England, and you know, TV was crazy, because TV, we're filming like 18 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. And so you pretty much say goodbye to all your friends and family. But I had a crew there. It was like the film crew. We all became really good friends. And so like I was always with people every day still then.
Right. And you're working and keeping your mind occupied.
Working, keeping my occupied. And then all of a sudden, you know, COVID happened. We kind of ended filming the TV, and we got this place in the country, and I was just like alone for the first time in my whole life. I've been like isolated for the last I don't know how many years. So I think that's got a lot of it, you know, that for me personally, I think, you know, the lack of being around friends all the time is my biggest, you know, fight. So I'm always online chatting to my friends, and that's another problem in its own, you know, being online all the time, and you know, it takes my focus away from
that
stuff I need to do.
fucking terrible, man.
Yeah, but I try to stay on there just to like chat with friends, you know what I mean? But yeah, the connection with friends, like that's for me.
But you have to balance fucking different countries, different time zones.
Yeah, well,
different.
That's the problem about being a dickhead like me and living fucking in so many different countries. I'm meeting all my friends at different events, because I travel, being in the motorcycle and building bikes that always have, you know, displays, and I'm always at different events all over Europe. So I create, all my friends have been created at these events, and they all live in Italy, France, Germany, all over the fucking world are my best friends, and none of them live near me. So it's just, I've got to get on a plane pretty much to go hang out with my mates. So I find that a bit tough, but
communication keeps you sane.
Communications keeps me sane. Jump on FaceTime, have a few beers. Like my birthday, people are like, "What do you do for your birthday?" And I got absolutely shit-faced in my kitchen by myself. If my neighbors were looking through my windows, they're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" He's just talking to the kitchen counter. I had my phone set up on the counter, and I'm talking to my mates and just partied with my mates in Canada, but I was in my kitchen.
You should get like a phone for each mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Just FaceTime at the same time and just fucking, hey guys.
Well, I've tried to hook it up to the TV because I wanted to put it on the TV,
life size,
life size, so you can have the whole thing, but I couldn't get it to work for some reason.
Yeah.
But that for me is the key. It's just friendships.
Mark,
My turn.
your turn.
It's a mix of both. I mean, what Scotty said, the endorphins that you get from going for a walk for me in the morning. I always go to the gym in the morning. I'm fat fit, so I love my food, but I'm still relatively fit. I just wouldn't take my shirt off at the beach at the moment, but we'll get there in a few months' time. But for me, it's the social connections. It really is. I mean, I've been really fortunate that I've still got 6 mates from primary school. I've still got about 20 mates from high school, and they're my crew. I mean, these are guys that I've known for anywhere from 33 years to what am I, 38, so 25 years.
Wow.
And having that network was really strong for us. And I think you only sort of start to reflect on questions like this after COVID, because we were all, I guess, alone for so long. But even with our crew of friends, we were playing poker every Sunday night, and we fucking loved it. And it was online. We could see each other's faces, and we're having those interactions. But you looked forward to Sunday night, and then we all bought these PlayStation 5s and Gran Turismo and the seats and the full setup, and we were racing Gran Turismo nearly every night of the week during COVID. So it's a mix of both of them. And I mean, you did say sort of how we helped people, and being able to have conversations like this and being able to show people that we're not 3 or 4 macho guys that don't talk about our well-being. We're talking about our well-being. Yeah. And you see that at these different events that we attend. I mean, I've seen some of the rides that I've attended go from, guys not really interacting with each other too much, now starting to get to know each other. And then if you fast forward to one of the rides that we did recently, there were 2 guys talking about testicular cancer. 2 guys that didn't know each other talking about testicular cancer and the fact that they both had their sort of testicles removed. And you walk past that conversation and you sit there and go, this feels like something that we've all created. We've all been able to get into this position with DGR where men are comfortable talking about their health. You wouldn't have heard that conversation back in 2010. 2 random guys on motorbikes aren't talking about that shit. And so for me, it's really about, I think the enjoyment that I get from DGR is 1, breaking the stereotype, but 2, being able to facilitate a community that feels comfortable enough to talk about their health. And I think that's saving more lives than any of the fundraising and any of the rest of the stuff that we're doing.
I agree.
And I know that's a big call because obviously the event takes money to run and fundraising is an important aspect of it. But if we can get guys that are over 45 to get checked for prostate cancer and they find out that they've had prostate cancer, they have prostate cancer, and they're able to get to it early enough, that is the part that keeps us going in the office. And the emails that we get on a weekly basis from guys saying, hey, if it wasn't for you, I'd be dead. That happens every fucking week, and it is amazing. It's sometimes a little bit daunting because you also have other issues that come off the back of prostate cancer as well. But for us, being able to help people keeps us in a really good position mentally as well.
Man, thank you guys for sharing what your cause has done, the interaction you guys have with each other. You guys are fun. You guys are cool. You guys are adventurous. You guys are responsible. You guys are fucking...
That last one, I don't know about that.
It's quite a good... to be fair.
Let me tell you something. You guys wouldn't make it this far together to my studio after the shit you went through if you weren't responsible.
We work hard and we play hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
That's
We're quite the contradiction, right? Because, I mean, even for me, people look at me in a suit and they expect me to live my life in a suit. And I'm like, no, that's just DGR. And I'll swear and I'll smoke a cigarette and I'll get drunk and party. And to Anthony's comment, we work hard and we play hard. When we're working, we are working and we're doing everything that we can for whichever event that we're running. But when we're hanging up at the end of the day, it's like, no, let's go out, let's ride motorbikes and let's party. And, I think that's how the whole world should be.
But again, you asked like what can help people. that balance is what helps me as well. Like, you know, you can't just be all in on work and not fucking have fun, because then work sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do a job. I fucking love my job. You know, I build fucking cool
Well, that's
custom
another thing. But
motorcycles.
people get stuck at jobs they don't like.
And yeah, of course.
You know,
what
like
I mean?
where their highlight of their day is taking a shit and strolling
Yeah,
on
yeah.
social media.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
their highlight of their day.
Like
Like,
that
Just bought a Corvette.
like that is the scariest thing to me, is having, like, if it all got taken away tomorrow and I had to go fucking work, you know, again, just like, I don't know, just some job that I did the same thing every
It'd be
day.
really hard for Anthony to join 95% of the rest of the world.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, like, it's one of my favorite tattoos. It says "unemployable" across my wrist, and I am fucking totally unemployable. I've worked for myself.
Congratulations.
For so long now.
Congratulations on that. I'm going to say this one thing. I read this years ago, fucking 8 years or longer, but it was one of those surveys or something right before when people die on their deathbed, like, what do they regret? And I think the two biggest ones was, one was not telling the person they love, I love you, enough. They just didn't say that. Yeah. And the other one was not quitting their job on time. The job that they hate, not quitting it on time. Just saying, I can't, if I lose this job, blah, just kind of hanging on to it for 20, 30 years. Yeah. That's like a big regret.
You like, everything I've achieved in my life is because I took a fucking risk. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do it. What's the worst going to happen? You know what I mean? Say yes more, say no more.
I think the worst that happens is people are scared of failure.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that for you to appear visually successful, or me, or Scott, or anyone, that there have been a huge amount of failures that have got us to the point. If you've got an ego that's so strong that you can't accept failure, then you'll never succeed. Yeah. It's impossible.
Right.
Ego is one of the biggest things to
you need a healthy balance. I think I've got a healthy balance.
Yeah.
Again, it was on social media, but it said, if you're not failing, you're not even trying.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington.
Yep.
Yeah,
Love
that's
fucking
good.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, he did that speech he did at this, was it in California at the school or the graduation thing?
No, yeah, one of those.
One
But
of those
he
schools.
does. He fucking speaks amazing. But he literally says, if you're not failing, you're not even trying. Period.
I fail every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn.
Dude, I
from
watch
failing.
I watch you fail every day.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'll record it. I'll publish this, edit this. Do you guys want to post on yours too? Or?
We'll definitely do something with it.
Yeah.
That's all we transfer you guys.
Could be
the
a
file.
bonus podcast on ours as well.
Yeah. I've done a few episodes where I'll just record it and then we'll just publish it on both shows.
that could be
you
cool.
know, so it's just more exposure.
No, thanks for having us, man.
Of course, man.
It's
It
great
was
to
a
meet
true
you.
honor. I look forward to meeting you guys. I have to go. I really want to go to South Africa, and now I want to go to Australia.
Yeah, man. We're ready for you when you are. We've got motorbikes.
I was talking to someone, I forgot who it was, but I was telling them that my brother was in the Navy, and they said it was like 3 women for every 1 man. Goodbye.
It's the Navy. It was
That's
3
the new
men to
tourist.
1 man.
Yeah, my brother was in the Navy. He was like, yeah, but this was in 95.
Yeah, it was full.
Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you, gentlemen. Till
See
next
ya,
time.
mate.
Dude,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you, man.